So today's video is going to be quite different than I had planned. Originally, the plan was to explain what had happened to the Jeep. As you can see, it's totally torn apart, and I actually will still explain what happened here. So Josiah is currently holding up the power steering pump, and what had happened originally, what I had referred to in the last video about this Cherokee, about that thing that went catastrophically wrong with it. The original power steering fluid actually leaked all of its fluid out and then seized, and then the pulley shaft snapped, which then caused the serpentine belt to fly off all the pulleys, which then meant no more water pump, no more alternator, no more clutch fan, and the temp pegged itself right at 260. It ran off just the battery for who knows how long. I didn't notice until I was about 5 or 6 minutes away from home. But regardless, we put in a new power steering pump. This one's actually from a Grand Cherokee, and it ended up not working either. We had a belt on there. It's actually this one right here, and you can see it's all chewed up at the edge because the pulley on this is just a little tiny bit different than the stock power steering pump. And then we were like, okay, let's go get a new pulley. We get a new pulley, which was supposed to be the right part number for a 92 Cherokee, and of course it wasn't. So then we ended up thinking about just using the original pulley from the old power steering pump. And then when we tried to pull the pulley off of this thing, that snapped, and now I'm stuck having to buy a brand new power steering pump. So that's the update with the Cherokee. Now, we were actually planning on doing that today, but I insisted on putting a new muffler on my 4Runner, and that's what all of this is right here. We've got the old exhaust pipe right here laying around. We got the new Flowmaster Super 44. We have the old muffler right there. And it's a disaster. I'm gonna go ahead and let Josiah explain what's been happening.
First thing, we went to take off the front of the exhaust, which actually went a lot easier than I thought it would. So you got this flange here, and just past this flange you have the catalytic converter and all that. Went to take this off, came off really easy. I was like, wow, that's going great. Then you have this rear flange, and to get the exhaust out without doing what we ended up having to do, which is cut the pipe, you pretty much need to have this flange out. Maybe if you had a lift and had it far enough up in the air where you could really kind of try to maneuver it out, you might be able to do it, but we don't have that here. So this
unfortunately,
flange, very unfortunately, but you look at this bolt here, it's totally rounded. This thing, I mean, you could even just look at it. The thing's so crusty and so rusty and seized.
Here, let me see that other bolt again. It didn't pull focus.
And so, yeah, that's all rounded out. We even got a blowtorch on it, heated it up a fair amount. It was not going anywhere. We didn't bother doing this one because that one's already bad. So what we're going to do, because we don't want to get a new tailpipe, we don't want to go do this. I don't have stuff to necessarily fab up a new tailpipe. So what we're going to do is get the muffler on. That's nice. Get the new muffler on, and then we're just going to try to dump the exhaust before the before the axle. I know it's not the best way to do it, not the preferred way to do it, but one issue that Sam did have on his 4Runner here is, if you probably seen in past videos, but right here is crunched, and this isn't when the exhaust pipe got messed up, but the exhaust pipe also got crunched here too on an obstacle.
That, for the record, that dent was there when I bought it, but the exhaust pipe used to dump right here. And of course it's super dark outside, so you're not going to be able to see it too well, but it used to point out right here on the side, and it once got crushed up on a trail.
Yeah, and where it's going to dump out after we have it on, there's no dents or anything there right now, so theoretically it should be fine. It actually should prevent that from happening, hopefully. Always depends on the obstacles you're on. The biggest issue is you're not going to see the tailpipe. I guess that's not the biggest issue. The biggest thing is going to be droning. Hopefully it's not too bad. But we're just going to have to see how it goes. This has been a nightmare, and I told Sam when we got the muffler out that the nightmare has just begun, and that ended up being true. So it's fun, totally, but we're going to get on doing some jank welding and getting it hopefully put in tonight.
Oh, and what did we say when we first looked at taking the exhaust off?
Oh, yeah. So when I looked at both of the flanges, I was like, oh, man, this should be a piece of cake. This should be easier than my Cherokees, because I just recently did a essentially Super 40 series knockoff. It's the thrush welded muffler, and I put that on my 96 Cherokee. That actually went by pretty smooth. I got it all fabbed on. Not even a week later, I took it off road onto a trail, crunched up the muffler into the floor, and then that almost caught my Jeep on fire because it built up so much heat. The carpet started smoking, paint started flaking off because it was so hot, but that's a story for another day. So that sucks. So I've just had so much luck with these exhausts recently. But yeah, because with my 96, I had to take off the whole exhaust pipe from the manifold to the back, just because how it was done. There were no like clamps or anything I could take off. I didn't want to cut it off and weld it in the vehicle. I prefer welding it outside just so I can get a good weld around the whole thing. If I had a lift where I could let it hang down, I would have done it that way, but I don't have that. So looking at this, you had the two flanges, and I was like, oh, buddy, this should be super easy. First one came undone pretty easy. Second one didn't, and that's where everything since then today has just been going downhill. And then you also have everything on top of that Cherokee, which it's just been a cluster to say the least.
Before we get into welding up the new muffler, we did have to find out how the 4Runner sounded without a muffler. Now, it's not truly straight piped because the catalytic converter is still on there, but it actually didn't sound as bad as I had expected it to. Let's see how this thing sounds straight piped. I'm not expecting anything good.
It sounds like a ricer, like a low-tone ricer. It's not as bad as I actually thought.
I thought it would be a lot worse. I don't know, man. I think we should keep it like that. I think that sounds great. Oh my gosh, dude. Now, does this or the Jeep sound better?
That sounds more like a tractor. This sounds like low-tone rice.
It sounds like one of those Subis you'd see with the fart can on it, you know? Or a Honda.
But this is more like dropping a few tones down.
Check engine light didn't come on though.
Really?
Yeah.
There's no rear O2 sensor.
I know. We unplugged the rear O2 sensor in this thing to get the exhaust pipe out. And if you look, normally that would throw a check engine code. But in this thing, no, it's running. Yeah.
The front one would for sure.
Yeah.
The rear one just kind of, I think, checks your catalytic converter's efficiency or some crap like that.
Oh, all right.
But
and it's not burned out because it did turn on when I had it in just the on position. Yeah. So here it is, guys. There's that flange we were talking about earlier, and then you follow that pipe up to one of the new welds, and then there's that beautiful Flowmaster Super 44, and then there's our cheater's way out of running the actual tailpipe. Hopefully that sounds okay. I guess we're about to find out. It's time to start this thing up for the first time with that new muffler. We haven't heard it yet. It's either gonna sound decent or really crappy. Idle's not half bad. All right. That's a lot of cab drone, all right? That's loud. I kind of like that though. I don't know. It's got that ricer that went through puberty vibe. It does sound better than stock, I will say that, but that's, I would hope so. I'm gonna go ahead and do a high rev test. I have heard better sounding exhausts, but as far as these little tiny V6s go, that isn't too bad. I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys a listen to how it sounds when it's actually driving. That 0 to 40 is way faster than it used to be.
Good.
How does it sound?
Pretty loud.
So I've been driving with it like this for a week or two now, and as you can see, we never put the exhaust hanger on it. So it just kind of, you know, sways like that. So we're gonna go ahead and get that going. As you can see right there, we ended up cutting one of the old hangers off the old muffler, and we're just gonna kind of weld it up to this and hope it works, right?
Probably won't, but
Probably not, but yeah. There you go, guys. That is finally going to be it for this video. This took a lot longer than I had hoped. I'm actually recording this outro about a week and a half after we initially put the Flowmaster on. I'm just recording it on my phone so I can get this video out to you guys sooner rather than later. Anyway though, guys, again, a big shout out to Josiah for helping me with this project. And of course, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Come back Wednesday for a Spyro video, and of course, come back next Friday for another Friday video. It'll probably be something involving a car. But anyway, guys, until then, that is gonna be it. Thank you for watching.